Hello Internet, it's me again, making a video. So if you watched my last video, you know I decided that this time I would read a book that was not about trees. Unfortunately, I was sorely mistaken, because today's book is The Hunger Games. Although I guess it's really not about trees, it just happens to contain many trees. So The Hunger Games is by Suzanne Collins. It was written in 2008. Apparently, my brother thinks that Gale is awesome. So this book was recommended to me by my 15-year-old brother. He's in high school. But I'm really reading it because John Green said it was good. Quickie summary for those of you living under a rock. The Hunger Games takes place in this dystopian future in a country called Panem, which used to be North America. Panem is broken into 12 districts and the capital. The story starts many years after this war that the districts waged against the capital, and as punishment, every year the capital chooses a girl and a boy from each district, takes all these kids, puts them in an arena, and makes them fight to the death. It sucks. The story follows Katniss Everdeen, who volunteers for her younger sister Prim to take her place in the Hunger Games. Quickie summary over. So initial thoughts, I liked this book way more than I thought I would. I've been hearing about it a lot and it just sounded kind of overrated. I'm such a hipster. I'd seen the movie, thought the movie was pretty good, but didn't love it. But the book was surprisingly gripping, and it only took me a day and a half to read, so definitely worth my time. There were a few things I really liked about the book. I really liked being inside Katniss's head, especially in comparison to the movie. In the movie, it was sometimes harder to tell what her motivation or her emotions are because she tries so hard to hide everything. But in the book, even though you see she is really strong, and she's playing really stoic for the TV and for the audience and the other tributes, she does have a lot of emotions, you just don't get to see them. Unless you're awesome. The plot was super intriguing, I couldn't put it down. I actually skipped doing homework for one night because I wanted to read it instead. If you're watching this, I ended up doing the homework later. And I think my favorite character has to be Cinna, and I'm sure plenty of people will say that, but he's just great, and I love him. A couple things I didn't really like so much about the book. I was trying to figure out what bugged me when I started reading it, and I thought it was the first-person narration, but that wasn't it. It was the first-person present-tense narration. This isn't going on right now. You're lying. It's just not something I'm very used to. I don't know if it's more of a young adult thing that they're doing now, or I just haven't read a ton of books with the first-person present-tense narration. And it really got on my nerves for the first couple chapters, and then I got used to it, and it didn't bother me so much. So that's fine, like, it wasn't a big deal. One of the other things I would have really liked to see is getting to know more about some of the other tributes. Because you get to know about Katniss and Peeta, and some about Rue, and a little bit about Thresh, but that's kind of it. But as a reader, I found myself more as a viewer of the Hunger Games as opposed to someone who became emotionally invested in a lot of the characters. Because in the end, I didn't really care what happened to the other tributes as long as Katniss won, or Peeta won, or somebody good won. And I think it would have been a little bit different if you'd known more about the tributes and understand what being there was like for them. I'd like to know why someone would want to volunteer for the Hunger Games. Katniss couldn't be the only person who had emotional investment in winning. There had to be other people who had backstories as interesting or more so than hers. And I feel like if you knew those a little more, you would have been able to humanize the characters a little more, and it would have actually seemed as brutal as it really is. Again, that's just an opinion thing. It didn't really stop me from enjoying the book. And I have heard they do that a little more in some of the other books, so we'll see. I think one of the most annoying things is people who ask if you're on Team Gale or Team Peeta. The book sort of has a love triangle, but it's not really there. I think the most important thing to Katniss is about surviving and kicking everybody's ass. And so I hate when people make this into like a Twilight thing, because I really don't think it's like that at all. But maybe that changes too! Anyway, overall really enjoyed it. I definitely give it like a 6.5 or a 7. It may not be the most meaty read in the world, but it's definitely entertaining, it's a lot of fun, and if you have a free day, you should just read it, it's fun. I just checked Catching Fire out of the library, I'm very excited to read that. But my current book I'm working on is this one, and hopefully I'll talk to you more about Living Buddha, Living Christ next time. So that's all I have to say about that. I really enjoyed the book. I hope you enjoy it too. Stay cool, Internet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.